I wanted to do a bit of a pregnancy series. I'm not sure who will watch this, who's interested, but even if it's just for, my record of how everything happened and how I'm feeling at the moment, then so be it. But I know when I wasn't pregnant, and even when kids weren't a thought in my head, I was always really intrigued by seeing women's experiences and hearing their stories. So hopefully this inspires you or you are interested. So here goes. Um, I'm 25. I'll be 26 when I have my baby. And I guess for me, I always wanted to be a young mum, but the the planning and stuff wasn't really something that I was ever into. I never wanted to set out and say, I'm gonna get pregnant and this is my mission. And to be honest, when I was younger and when Matt and I first started our relationship, I was always mindful of not getting pregnant. I was always, on the pill and trying to avoid getting pregnant, um, because I didn't, I wasn't in a position to be a mum. Um, Moving forward, Matt and I decided, well, I decided, um, January last year to go off the pill. And obviously, I did let Matt know what was going on. But I just figured I was in this spot where I was getting, really healthy and really into development and becoming the healthiest person I could be. And I'd listened to Nat Kringoudis and I'd gotten really into learning about how important your fertility is, whether you're trying to have kids or not. And it was for that reason that, yeah, I made the decision to stop taking the pill, because I realized that it was affecting my body more than I had known. And it had just been covering up, you know, problems. So I went on the pill when I was 16. Um, and it was because I had really bad cramping and irregular periods and all that jazz. And the doctor prescribed me the pill, and ever since then, I'd pretty much been on it. Um, and yeah, I'd never really thought that it was bad. I just took it. But when I started to educate myself, I really realized that I didn't want to be putting this little pill in my mouth every day and shutting off a massive part of my body, and a part that I knew in the future I'd want to use. Um, I also had people in my life really close to me struggle getting pregnant, and that was a not a wake up call, but I guess it got me thinking about, you know, do I would I be better off taking the risk now, or you know, do I want to? I guess I didn't want to get to a point where I wanted kids, and I found it to be really difficult. So I was kind of, trying to set myself up. Anyway, so I went off the pill a year and a half ago. Told Matt, and it was a massive deal. Not a massive deal for Matt and I, but a massive deal for, I guess, me personally and with some of my family members and stuff. And um, it really was put into my head that, by going off the pill, you are opening yourself up to the risk of getting pregnant. So that was obviously always something that I knew I was opening myself up to that risk. But at the same time, for me, always wanting to be a young mum, being in a really, really great relationship, having my own house, and knowing that I could comfortably raise a child with my partner, it didn't scare me that it was a risk because I knew I'd be okay. So fast forward to a year, been off the pill for a year, and yeah, so be it. It happened, and I got pregnant. It wasn't intentional. When I tell people I'm pregnant, the first question is, "Was it an accident?" And the answer is, "No, it wasn't an accident, but I, it wasn't planned." So my baby, I don't ever want my baby to think that it was an accident because it was meant to be. And anyway, so yeah, so pregnant, and I, how did I find out I was pregnant? So I was feeling off. For those of you who don't know, I work casually at the RSPCA, and I was working one day and I just felt off. I've never ever been the type of person that gets tired during the day. And I hadn't really been sick for a long time, and I just felt really, really off. And anyway, I was talking to one of the ladies at work, and she said to me, what's wrong? You don't seem like yourself. And I just said, I'm really not feeling that great. And she said, you're pregnant. Go get a test. Long story short, went and got a test. Just a heads up, when you do a pregnancy test, make sure you wait 3 minutes, because the prime time window is between 3 and 10 minutes. And I didn't wait that long, and it said I wasn't pregnant. And so we went for a walk, and I said to Matt, no, I definitely know that I'm pregnant. I am 100% sure that I'm pregnant. I've never felt this way in my body. Something is just different. And yeah, I know it. Um, anyway, so we went home from our walk, did another test, waited the 3 minutes, actually read the instructions, waited 3 minutes, and sure enough, a little faint second line came up. And yeah, that moment, as as much as I always thought in my head that that moment would be this happy time, my fear and my self doubt really kicked in then. I just was so scared. I was scared that, I guess the biggest thing was I was scared that I'd get excited and then lose the baby, because for so many people close to me that has happened. Um, and the other thing I was scared about was, can I do this? Like, I'm only 25. I This wasn't in our plan. Matt and I had really got specific on what our plan was, and our plan was to travel and then get engaged and then have a family. And that wasn't, what was happening wasn't in our plan. Um, and then Matt was stoked, and we sat down, and I just wow, I'm getting emotional about it now. Um, but yeah, it was just like, wow, this is happening. Like, we we just have to go with this, because this is what's happening, and this is amazing, and we're so blessed, and wow, we're going to be parents. Um, so so yeah, from there, we went and had a scan, because I didn't know how far along I was. And it ended up being that we had the scan at 7 weeks, and we saw the heartbeat, and everything was looking really good. And around this time, my sister was actually expecting her baby, um, when, like, pretty much when we were finding all this out. And I didn't want to take away her um, spotlight or anything. I wanted my parents to, be all about my sister, and not be worrying about me and my health. Um, so we decided to wait till, we were going to wait till 12 weeks. We ended up waiting till 10 weeks to tell our family. And that was really hard. I'm not a person that keeps secrets, and it was hard keeping this massive secret. People say, how are you going, what's news? And you're like, oh, nothing, but really you're pregnant and your whole life's about to change. Um, yeah, so that was the first 12 weeks. In terms of my health, and how I was feeling physically, I've never been that tired. I have never ever been that sick. Not being sick, but just nausea, constant nausea all day, just feeling crap. Um, but through it all, I just kept reminding myself, I'm growing a baby. This baby is going to be strong. This baby wants to be here, and this is awesome. Like, my body just knows what to do, and how amazing is that. Um, I started taking folic acid, and the doctor said that I was low in, I think it's vitamin D. So I'm still taking folic acid and vitamin D tablets every day. I never wanted to take anything extra. I didn't think it was necessary for me to take um, Alivit or whatever it's called, just because I know that I have a balanced diet. At the same time, there were days when all I wanted to eat was chocolate, and it got to a point where I just thought, crap, if that's all I'm gonna, if that's all I eat today, then so be it. Like, it's surely it's better that I eat something. I remember watching videos or hearing stories about women that got pregnant and they had the same thing. All they wanted to eat was crappy food. And I remember thinking, oh wow, I'd never be like that with my kid. I'm going to make sure I nourish my body as much as possible. But I found that when I was in that situation, it was just do whatever you can to get through. Um, there were days where I had dishes piled in the sink and, washing to do and work to be done, and all I could do was sit with my feet up on the couch watching TV. And yeah, I just had to surrender because again, I just kept reminding myself I've got a baby in here, and they say there's apps obviously that you can have that tell you the size of the baby every week and stuff like that. In one of the apps, it said that when you start growing the baby, I don't know if it's so much now because I'm feeling pretty good now, but when you start growing the baby, it's the equivalent of like a marathon runner. So obviously, that exhaustion and stuff, that's because you're growing a baby. Don't try and push it. And I remember also thinking that whole time, like, I am so blessed that I can just put my feet up now, that I, don't have to call in sick to a full time job. And I just am so blessed and stoked with life. It was definitely hard in the first, um, like, really early on, especially when my family didn't know what was going on and when my sister was still pregnant, um, because she, like, we were all about her and making sure she was okay. And mum and her would come around, and I'd be complaining that I was sick, and they didn't know why. And if I had been her, I would have been like, "Oh, yeah, I've got a kid that I'm about to have. Why are you so sick?" But yeah, it's just funny how we think that we can't tell people stuff because we don't want to upset them. But I'm sure either way, my family would have been as stoked as they were when we told them. But yeah, I guess I'll do little series. So that's my first trimester. And I'll leave that one there. And yeah, I'd love to hear your feedback if you've got any, or um, yeah, I'll just leave it there. So, yep, take two on series, not series two, episode two will be there soon.